even told him, y'all had changed a little something.
We did change the language on it.
It's not, okay.
And this paragraph changed. And earlier, we were envisioning him letting the county use his option. I think that would be a good idea.
Call to order the meeting on Monday, August 9th, 2021 at 6 o'clock to order. If you would, please stand with me and join me in the invocation. Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for another day you bless us left forward. Lord, we just thank you for the turnout and coming out and conducting county business. Lord, you just ask you to lead, guide, and direct us through this whole process, Lord. We just thank you for many blessings you have blessed us with, Lord, and forgive us where we fail. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Continue standing for our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we do the approval of the agenda, requests that need to be amended to add budget amendment number 10 to consent agenda for approval, as well as add Mr. Steve Page to discussion agenda as item A to speak about the Stokes County Fair. Do I have a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now move on to our public comments, and we have one speaker tonight. When I call your name, come up, you'll have 4 minutes to state your name, address. Mr. Glenn Knox.
Evening, everyone. I got one of these for everybody. This is really quick. I just wanted to make sure that you all were aware, you probably are. CenturyLink is getting ready to sell all the copper assets in the state of North Carolina, and what that means is a company named the Apollo Global Management Group is about to own all of our DSL and copper and all the circuits we have in the county and the state. I just wanted to make sure that you all were aware that that's taking place. The close is the end of 2022. So I don't know how that's going to impact our DSL in the county, but I can tell you this, I can't lose DSL. So I just wanted to make sure y'all were aware that this is taking place and that you guys can maybe engage them, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so
Sir.
much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our comments from our manager and commissioner. Start Commissioner Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just welcome everybody to the meeting tonight. It's good to have you here. That's all I have.
Mary, Mr. Morris, good to see everybody watching live. I know one of the big hot topics has been our hospital, and I would just like to say I appreciate each and every one of you that are here that came and spoke last week or week before. And one thing I'd like to clarify on my part, there's a lot of he said, she said stuff. Never was in my intent whatsoever to shut the hospital down. I want that totally understood. I've got a lot of my medical knowledge that come out of that hospital from a lot of the nurses that worked there in the past years. So I just want to make a clarification on that tonight. Thank y'all.
Commissioner Meehoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I just also want to say thank you for everyone coming out tonight. It's very much appreciated when you come out and participate in the county governmental process, and for everyone that's watching us on live stream, I also want to say welcome to you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Cox.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for being here in person and online, and thank you for the information that was presented about the copper assets from CenturyLink. I think broadband and DSL is something this board is interested in, having more providers for our county and a better way to have the rural access for broadband. It's something we're looking at possibly using some of our American Rescue dollars for, so it's something we'll be talking a lot about in the coming months. So
Thank you, ma'am. It's good to see everybody. Don't have a lot really to speak on tonight, so for the first time, I'm going to call our county manager, Ms. Shaver.
It's good to be here and welcome everybody here. You know, if anybody in the room, I think a lot of people know me already, but if anybody in the room needs anything, don't hesitate to call me and ask. I'll be glad to help you or steer you in the right direction. I did want to take 1 second and let our board know and thank our Sheriff's Department for partnering with our Public Works Department on providing deputies at the park, which you approved a few meetings back. Actually, the first weekend they were down there, the weekend of July 24th, they assisted in a rescue there of a young lady that was in the water struggling, non-responsive, and some private citizens helped as well, and they were able to help in that and get first responders there quickly. So that was a great thing that our Public Works Director asked for and partnered with our Sheriff's Office. So thank you to all of them for doing that. It was a really beneficial thing, and it will continue to be. They're down there every weekend. Another thing just to note really quick is that our maintenance building you approved in the budget, not this year but past year, is actually up and running. Finally, the guys have moved into that building, so if you get a chance to go up and take a look at it, it's quite an improvement from where they were previously. So they're moved in up there, so you might take a look at it. That's all I got. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Now move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion on this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
No discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Move on to our information agenda. We just have one, Mr. Hooker for Records report.
Thank you. Good evening. Is this thing on? I gotta move it down. You'll see on your report, it says July 26th. I appreciate you letting me postpone it. You guys had your hands full a couple of weeks ago. This is a fourth quarter report for the 2020-2021 fiscal year, as well as the end of the year report. So if you'll turn over with me, I'm not going to go through everything because it's a lot of figures. But for the quarter, it was our best quarter ever. Total revenue was $183,000, and 50 cents. After subtracting their monies remitted to the state that they collect, we netted $118,153.80. Move on to the end of the year report, which was the best year also on record for the office. Transactions were up about 21% over last year. Revenue was up about 35%, and that's a little disproportionate because of the excise tax collected. And I've harped on excise tax this whole last year, which is a tax on the transaction itself when property transfers, and home prices keep going up, so the tax keeps going up. So our gross revenue for the year was $656,231.62, and our net revenue after the monies collected by the state or subtracted was $425,691.02. And you'll see on that end of the year report, there's a transfer tax, which you hadn't seen before. I don't know a way to calculate that really quarterly, so I put it at the end of the year because it's based off, bear with me here, Julia, it's 2% of the monies we send to the state, which is the half of the excise tax, correct? She didn't hear me.
Julia. Brandon asked me.
The transfer tax is 2% of the excise tax we send to the state, right?
I guess that's what it's been being.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the year calculation I do for that. So that was the most excise tax we ever collected. So that's the largest deposit of that item we've ever had as well. Like I said, the increase in transactions and revenue was based off the housing market, the way it's been acting the last 18 months or so. Last year, we collected about $320,000 in net revenue, so it was a $105,000 single year increase, which is the biggest we've ever had. Like I said, that's 35% up in revenue over the last year. And 52% over the previous 5 years. There should be a graph on your report showing the last 5 years. And over the last 5 years, revenues increased 52%. And that, like I said, it's the market, and I can't predict how long that market's going to last. But, we're going to ride the wave as long as it's there. That kind of goes over the revenue and transactions. I do want to say that we exceeded expenditures. Revenue did by $150,000, over $150,000 this year, which I was very, very proud of. Bear with me just a moment here. The January 2020, we began a redaction project, and it identified roughly 500 Social Security or driver's license numbers that have been written on documents that we recorded in the office by banks or other institutions that had those recorded, and which was fine until people started putting those records online for public access. Well, then they're online. That's not good. So a lot of offices have been having those numbers redacted from the online copies, which we did last January. And I submitted that final invoice today to be paid. That was $44,000. It's a very labor-intensive project because you're looking through thousands and thousands and thousands of records trying to find those numbers. So we got that paid off. I submitted that invoice to our accounts payable today. So I was very happy to have that done, and we can start back with our preservation and automation of records. Also, on that note, at the end of 2019, we began a digitizing project. You probably heard me talk about it when I was campaigning, to get all of our birth and delayed birth records completely digitized and fully indexed to make them searchable in the office. And that's been completely done. We finished that about a month ago. That's why we got the part-time position in a couple of years ago, was to help with that indexing. The initial scanning of the records were paid for out of this preservation and automation fund. And the indexing, which we could have paid outside too, we did that completely in-house and at no cost whatsoever besides the employment of our personnel. And so every birth record in the county is now completely digitized and fully searchable because we've had them indexed. And I want to thank Kathy Young, former employees of the office, Kim Overstreet, Shannon Connor, and our current employee, Judy Puckett, who've all worked on that project for us. They've been completely digitized, all scanned and indexed now. And I'm very, very proud of that project, something Kathy started some years ago. We were able to finish all the deaths. They were done before my time in office. The last thing we have left is marriage license, about 50 years worth, and we'll have every vital record in the office completely preserved and digitized. And passports are coming up. I'm working with the Charleston Passport Office now. We'll be getting our folks trained in the next couple of weeks or so. Very excited about that new service. That's about all I've got.
All right, any questions, comments?
Brandon, I would like to ask, you talked about riding the wave as long as it'll take us, but you also briefly spoke about the technology. You know, we've had a conversion basically in the Register of Deeds office going from a lot of handwork to technology. You've really converted a lot of that to technology. Would you give that any of the as far as our increase in the amount of money we're collecting, would you say the technology conversion has had anything to do with that?
A little bit, because electronic recording, which is part of the technology, that was implemented in October 2016, about a year before I came into office. That's something the Secretary of State's office pushed pretty strong to make the state more business friendly, and it really has. It's more convenient, so instead of trying to process mail-in recordings, or some attorneys wouldn't work with our county because it took so long to get up here from different places. So now that they can, send the document electronically and get it here, there's more business being done by outside attorneys in different areas. So that may have contributed to that a little bit as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions, comments? All right, thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
We'll move on now to our discussion agenda. Item A, the Stokes County Fair, Mr. Steve Page.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for letting us talk to you tonight. Not going to beat around the bush. We came out here about 2 years ago and we asked you for some funds to help with the Stokes County Fair. Well, I'm back again, and we're going to be asking for some more funds. We didn't have a fair last year, which means our operating capital is down. By the way, I am the finance officer for the Stokes County Fair and the American Legion Post 290. And what we're going to ask for is some funds to help with the Stokes County 4-H and the Stokes County FFA. This money will pay the premiums. Now, don't get this wrong. Last time I said premiums, it wound up in the paper as insurance premiums. These are prize monies. Prize monies along with feed for animals, the wooden chips that go on the floors for the animals, water, judges, and stuff like that. The last time y'all were generous and gave us $6,500. We're gonna ask this time, I'm afraid inflation has hit for $7,000, if you could see it that way. If not, we would appreciate what was given the last time. Any little bit helps. So, any questions of me?
Any questions, comments?
Okay, I've
Thank
got
you.
another meeting to make here in about 30 minutes.
All right.
Thank y'all very much. We appreciate the time you give us. And thank you a lot for the help you gave us a couple of years ago. Thank you.
I'll move on to item B, the surplus.
Move that item to action for next meeting or
When is the fair again? Is it the
September 14th.
14th? Action next meeting, okay, for everybody?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Do it, Shannon. Item B, the surplus property offer 6993-05-08-8022. Ms. Glenda Pruitt.
Good afternoon. I had received a upset bid or an offer on a piece of property that is on Pine Hall Road. It was $975. It was by Sam Hopkins. We did our normal procedures, running it in the newspaper. There was no other bids against it. It ran from the 15th to the 26th of July. So I'm just here asking the board if you would all like to proceed with this offer and transferring the deed work over to him to get it back on the tax records.
Any questions, comments? Okay.
You need that moved to action tonight.
Not necessarily, because I'll get all the paperwork over to Ty's office, and it takes a couple of weeks for that, so it can be moved at the next one. It's perfectly fine.
All right. Thank you, Glenda.
Thank you.
Item C, request to add recruitment agenda item to ensure no conflicts of interest. Commissioner Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask the board's consideration on adding a recurring agenda item just before the consent agenda item. And the new item would require the board to affirm that no members have a conflict or a perceived conflict of interest related to business items that will be discussed on the meeting agenda. Agenda items on conflicts of interest are routinely included in other boards and agendas that we all serve on. Conflict of interest disclosure agenda item will serve as a reminder to board members to provide the opportunity, as a reminder to board members, and also provide the opportunity for board to demonstrate to the public that we take conflicts of interest and honest government very seriously. So that's my request.
Any questions or comments on it? Okay. Would you like to add to the
Action for
next
next
agenda
time.
next meeting?
That'd be good.
All right. Item D, the Walnut Cove Senior Center Advisory Council appointment request. Ms. Brown.
So Senior Services Director Vicki East is requesting that Luann Bridle fill the vacancy on the Walnut Cove Senior Center Advisory Council. Her application and resume have been provided, and the vacancy will also be advertised on the website through public notice.
Okay. Questions or comments? I'll open the floor for any additional nominations.
Motion to close.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Put this on action agenda next meeting. Item E, behavioral health service presentations from Shaver.
At your meeting on July 26th, you heard 3 presentations from some behavioral health companies to be our new LME or MCO providers. There were Sand Hills, Via, and Partners. We currently are aligned with Cardinal, and they are actually going to be merging into Via. So if we choose Via, we don't have to do any further action besides approve that at this meeting. At the current time, Partners has actually taken themselves out of consideration, stating that they didn't think Stokes was going to be a good fit for them. But even before that, in conversation with Stacy Elms, DSS director, and she and I sat through a couple of different presentations with them, we both felt, and she most importantly felt, a really good level of comfort with Via. They had a lot of things to offer Stokes County and really want to hit the ground running and start now rather than later. And also this item was discussed last time, but it was left and not moved anywhere. So if we could move that to action tonight, because we have to let DHHS know our decision on what we're going to do. They've actually extended the timeline a little bit for us for that. So if anybody has any questions or concerns about doing that with Via, just let me know.
You said for next meeting?
This meeting.
This
It was
meeting.
on last meeting and should have probably been moved to action then for this part, but it didn't get there, so we can move it tonight so we can let them know our decision and move forward with that with them.
So the consensus is to go with Via.
Yes, yes.
Okay, does everybody have a problem moving that to action tonight?
No.
All right, item F, future of Stokes Reynolds Memorial Hospital discussion. At the last meeting, the board had discussed looking to get a backup ready, and so I'm just going to come to the board and ask in guidance, do y'all want to proceed with whether an RFI, RFQ, or RFP that might be needed for the future of Stokes Reynolds Memorial Hospital?
I'd like to refer this to the Board of Trustees to handle, along with the Hospital Operations Committee, and let them come back, the Hospital Operations Committee come back with a recommendation to the Board of Trustees.
Okay, any more comments on that?
Were we going to get some information on the differences between the three methods, or, yeah, because I'd like to
Yeah, we just
be looking over that.
Linda and I today just got them prepared in case you wanted them, and you could certainly use them too for your meetings. Just the differences in the RFPs and RFIs and RFQs, and also some general statute information that we talked to Nick about on like how you'd have to proceed with different kinds of whatever you did on that. But this has got some information, and we can also put this out for anybody that wants a copy of it too, as far as online too. Attach it to this
Yeah, that'd be
meeting
good.
agenda so somebody could print it from online if they wanted it. So you got it.
If the board would like, I'll call a meeting of the Stokes Reynolds Memorial, Inc. Board of Trustees very quickly here, so we can use that meeting to discuss this one topic. You kind of give me an idea how quick you want to do it, but I think fairly quickly we should, based on what's been discussed up to this point.
Do you want to talk to your operations board before then?
Yeah, meet with them tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
All right.
I'm open on the 12th at any time if anybody else is open that day. That's next Thursday. No, this Thursday.
That Thursday will be at the Wilmington Commissioners Conference. County Commissioners Conference starts Thursday,
Look at next week.
Friday, and Saturday of this week for the Commissioners Conference.
Picking a date for your Board of Trustees.
Yeah.
meeting.
It'd have to be next week, right? At starting sometime the 16th, 17th.
There's a Board of Health meeting, the 17th at 6. I think Commissioner Nichols will be there at that meeting, right?
I don't have my appointment book with me, but most of the times around lunch, or between 12 and 3.
Well, if it gives them time to talk, do y'all just want to do it on the 23rd, either before or after our commissioner meeting at 2 o'clock?
That's fine.
That would be good for me.
I would like to do it where we're not boxed in against a meeting, because I think we might need to have lengthy discussions. And so if we could set it up maybe afterwards where we don't have a time constraint. And everybody had not have a time constraint. If we do it that way.
Which day are we talking about?
23rd
Same
after.
day of the meeting, but do it afterwards?
Yeah.
Fine with me.
I think you'd be safe if you planned it at 4. That'd be, you have a 2 o'clock meeting that day,
Yeah.
so we could
Yeah,
work with the agenda to be sure you'd be finished.
By 4.
Around 4 o'clock, that'd be safe, I would say.
okay, that's on Monday, the 23rd, right? Yeah.
I'd be afraid 3 might push you just a little bit, but 4 would be safe.
Any more discussion on that? All right, move on to action agenda. Item A, the fence removal at Moortop Park. Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item B, request to change agreement rates for EMS standby at events. Have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item C, the surplus property tax foreclosure. Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D, request to extend current solar farm moratorium. Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item E, behavior health service presentation. Have a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess the motion would have to include to go with this via. Okay.
Motion that we go with Vaya.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Amber, if you could read the rationale for closed session.
To consider and take action with respect to the position to be taken by the county in negotiating the price or other material terms of an agreement for the acquisition or lease of real property pursuant to statute 143-318.11A5.
Motion going closed.
Make a motion, we enter closed session.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're closed.
Making up for our last 8 hours.
Yeah. Hey.
Maybe what the hole's for then?
Yeah, or maybe it's to put on your key ring, but I wouldn't want all them on my key ring.
No further business. I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
I'll remove that bean down.
Out there, get your money.
Y'all are having some